Wisconsin's Dropbox saga continues while one county clerk says she does not support banning that method of voting.
Healthcare workers and at Mercy Health East Clinic come to a deal. Which of the workers' demands was not met in the compromise?
Plus, after skipping the last hearing on sexual misconduct in Wisconsin schools, what happened when the state school superintendent came face to face today with lawmakers? You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Thanks for staying with us, everyone. We begin with continuing coverage of the Department of Public Instruction's handling of sexual misconduct claims against school staff members.
An investigation by the Capital Times found 200 such incidents in the span of 5 years. At a Senate committee hearing today, State Superintendent of Schools Jill Underly made her first public comments since the article came out.
Our Ellie LaLiberte was there. Ellie, what did we hear today?
Yeah, well, Underly continuously defended the Department of Public Instruction, saying it follows state statute by investigating cases of sexual misconduct and removing educators from classrooms when necessary. However, she did note the inability to subpoena as a restriction in its investigative process. At a press conference ahead of the Senate hearing, Underly unveiled several steps to address concerns about teacher licensing and investigations, one of which is a new database to track revoked or surrendered educators' licenses.
We do not shield information from the public. We do not ignore allegations. And we do everything in our power to remove those who harm children from classrooms, and we do it urgently and decisively. Unfortunately, some have chosen to use this deeply sensitive issue to score political points.
So you say we're making political points or people are making political hay? My frustration is the legislature is getting blamed for stuff, and now you're able to make some counteractions and make some recommendations, which is great, but where was all this before the article ran?
DPI has one full-time and one part-time employee dedicated to investigating these incidents with the help of legal counsel.
That does not sound like a lot of people working on an issue with this becoming such a big issue.
Yeah, and that was exactly one of the questions lawmakers had for her today was, is this enough people to perform all these investigations? Now, what she said essentially in so many words was, we always need more resources, but couldn't give us a necessarily straight answer on what that looks like and how many people, but says that she is committed to transparency. That was a big thing. She continued to defend the department today, not necessarily admitting any wrongdoing here.
All right, Ellie, thank you. Let's get a check on the weather now. The sun is already setting on this beautiful Tuesday. It was sunny and mild today, but some changes, Alex, are on the way.
Yes, all you have to do is look at the 10-day temperature trend, and it tells the entire story here. Well, much of the story here. Temperatures staying in the 50s through Friday, as I've been mentioning the past couple of days. Then the rug gets pulled out right out from underneath us. Saturday, Sunday going on into Monday. Temperatures barely getting out of the 30s. Breezy conditions. And we will have precipitation, meaning we're going to have precipitation in the form of liquid and also not liquid, meaning we could have some snow during this time frame as well. More on that in just a couple moments. We will inch our way out of that chilly pattern as we go a little bit later into the 10-day. Nothing chilly at all about tonight. Look at these temperatures. These are the lows, mid to upper 40s for this time of year, even near 50 in Janesville. That's our normal high temperature for this time of year, and just goes to show how starkly we are changing here just over the course of a couple of days. Mid 50s for highs on Wednesday, gusty winds. 55 will be a common number across southern Wisconsin, so that'll overall temperatures that where we're at right now at 55, that's where we're going to get up to tomorrow. Still near 60 in the Wisconsin River Valley. Here in Dane County, temperatures mid to upper 50s. But once again, don't get used to these temperatures now. We got some big changes in the forecast. We're going to track that weather system that could bring, yes, some snow this weekend when I come back.
All right, Alex, thank you. And breaking news, we've just learned a teenager and a 20-year-old are facing charges for a shooting that happened in Sun Prairie last month. Police say October 17th is when this happened. Authorities arrested 17-year-old Tredell Morrison in Georgia and 20-year-old Jeremiah Smith of Madison, also arrested. They were extradited from Georgia to Wisconsin, booked into the Dane County Jail. The DA has charged Morrison and Smith with armed burglary and second-degree recklessly endangering safety. The police department referred more charges against the two, including attempted homicide.
Now, those charges stem from a shooting near Sunfield Street and Sun Court in the early morning hours of October 7th. That shooting sent one person to the hospital. They have since been released. Police say the shooting happened between two cars and was not random.
Well, this morning, the Dane County Board of Supervisors held a press conference on the new proposed county operating budget.
Part of the proposal would lower the salary of all county employees by 1% and impact staffing for the Dane County Sheriff's Office. Our Jalen Banks sat down with Dane County Sheriff Calvin Barrett today to hear more about what this means for his department. He joins us live from the City County building. Jalen?
Susan and Eric, I sat down with Dane County Sheriff Calvin Barrett this afternoon, and he shares with me the decisions towards staffing and funding for his department he had little to no say in. Part of the newly proposed operating budget for Dane County would freeze 20 of the existing vacant positions within the Sheriff's Department for the 2026 calendar year.
I consulted with staff, the Sheriff's staff, to confirm the historical data. And this is a data-driven decision, and I think it's a very predictable number that we can be assured, relatively assured, that the sheriff won't need to go beyond that in the way of filling positions.
Sheriff Barrett says he had little to no say in this decision and that this puts the department in a bind.
Yeah, well, first, the conversations in regards to the decision to move forward with freezing the 20 positions was very minimal. It was provided to me right before a board meeting over the phone, and really didn't have the time to process exactly what it was and what were the implications of it. At the end of the day, we were faced with two options. One was unsustainable, and the other one provided us with short-term survivability, and that's where we're moving forward with.
The county supervisors say part of making this decision was not solely based on the current number of staff.
The sheriff has a challenge ahead of him in how to address recruitment. It's something that I think local law enforcement agencies across the county and across the state, probably across the country, are facing.
However, Sheriff Barrett feels that all needs of the county can still be met.
I think there's the philosophy that it's a this or that. It's not a this or that, it's a this and a that. We need both human services and protective services, and we need them both to be funded equally. And that's where we're seeing the success across the country, is when they're equally funded moving forward. You can't have one without the other.
News 3 Now has done extensive coverage on the Dane County operating budget and its relation to the Dane County Sheriff's Department. As the budget continues to go through its processing and its finalization, we'll continue to keep you updated both on air and online as this continues to develop. But for now, reporting live from downtown Madison, Jalen Banks, News 3 Now.
All right, Jalen, thank you. One person is in jail after a police chase spanning multiple counties overnight. Monona police started the chase while responding to a call about a stolen car that wouldn't pull over. The chase ended in Rock County along the interstate near Milton. Southbound lanes of the highway were closed due to the incident from about 11:45 last night until 1:15 in the morning. The Monona Police Department handling the incident. Officials there have not provided more details about what happened, citing it's an active investigation.
Next at 5, more than 100 healthcare workers on strike at the Mercy Health East Clinic in Janesville will return to work after a months-long strike. UAW Local 95 came to an agreement with the clinic last night. Workers walked off the job in early July, asking for wage increases, more security, and a boost in benefits. The union representative did not confirm many details, but did say workers weren't able to get the desired shift on health insurance premiums that they wanted. His statement to News 3 Now reads, quote, "Not everybody is happy, but that's part of reaching a compromise."
A Republican-authored bill at the state capitol seeks to bar Wisconsinites from using absentee drop boxes in elections. At a hearing on the legislation today, we heard differing viewpoints from one of the bill's authors and a Wisconsin clerk.
Absentee ballot drop boxes are definitely a vehicle for ballot harvesting. Even if it's secured to the wall of the building, it can still be stuffed.
Stuffed with what?
With absentee ballot.
Even if somebody could get a stack of blank ballots and pull a bunch of voter names to put on the certificate envelope, there are so many other checks and balances downflow from that process that will allow us to see that something is not right.
Now, this fight's been a long one in Wisconsin. Back in July, Supreme Court banned the use of drop boxes anywhere outside of election clerks' offices. In April of 2023, Wisconsinites elected liberal Justice Janet Protasiewicz, flipping the court's ideological majority. And then 3 months later, a lawsuit asked the High Court to revisit its decision. 1 year later, the High Court ruled officials can place ballot boxes, drop boxes around their communities. Now, voters used those boxes in 2024 when President Trump won the state of Wisconsin. The initial suit that led to the ban followed accusations that those boxes had facilitated cheating when Donald Trump lost the 2020 election to former President Biden. President Trump never offered any evidence to support the claim. Multiple reviews found it was not the case. Still to come, Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington returns with a complete look at your First Warn forecast.
And another missed field goal this week could have been the difference for the Green Bay Packers. Will they hang on to kicker Brandon McManus?
And a bakery famous for its bread has a new location in Madison. We'll hear from Stella's owner about what the upgrade means to her. And tech stocks drag things down in trading today on Wall Street. The Dow tumbling some 251.5 points. The tech-heavy NASDAQ down 486 points. The S&P loses 80. We'll be right back.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
More local news now. Stella's Bakery is now operating out of its new location. The family-owned business officially moved to its storefront on Regent Street from its original South Madison site. That building will now serve solely as a production and distribution facility. This morning, Stella's hosted a community ribbon-cutting ceremony celebrating the move.
I would say that it's interesting to see all sorts of people come in, and generations, people from all over, and enjoy what we provide. And it's just been a wonderful experience.
The new location will feature a cafe offering pastries, sandwiches, coffee, beer, and wine, and of course, its famous spicy cheese bread. In the near future, Stella's Bakery hopes to see its plans for wholesale come to fruition. The store is open Tuesday through Saturday, 7 to 6.
The Goodman Community Center asking for your help with its Thanksgiving basket drive after this year's public registration reached capacity faster than ever before. The drive provides the ingredients families need to make a full Thanksgiving meal. Starting November 15th, you can donate the food and money to fill the 4,000 baskets. One way to help is setting up a food drive, and the center has provided grocery lists, posters, and tips to make your drive successful. Financial donations can also be made online at goodmancenter.org/donate.
Well, it is another mild evening out there tonight. Alex is here with the full story.
Full story, and then the big changes, too, that are coming this upcoming weekend that we've been talking about for a few days. Trade in the mild stuff if you want a little bit of winter stuff. We're tracking that. Let's be abundantly clear, though, with this weather system. The time frame, Saturday night going into early Sunday, if the track is favorable for snow in southern Wisconsin. Some minor accumulations are possible, mainly on the grassy surfaces. But some of our weather models, just to be abundantly clear, are could shift the weather system more to the south, which would take that wintry chance a little bit further south of the area. But here's our consistent weather model. Always go with what's most consistent here to paint the picture. A couple rain, maybe a couple of wet snowflakes in southwest Wisconsin, noon on Saturday. Latest updates here bringing in snow showers by the time we get into Saturday evening, lasting into the overnight hours with strong north winds. So it's going to feel very winter-like as we head into the upcoming weekend. Even if we don't get snowfall, even if it's just flurries, it's going to be a chilly go on Saturday evening. And as we head into Sunday morning with the Madison Marathon, even if we don't get any snow, it's going to be chilly northwest breezes that runners are going to have to contend with. Now, this weather system here is very similar to this yellow line here. The track of this weather system is the green line. So this is a clipper-like weather system that comes in from the north and from the west that we're keeping a close eye on. But that track is very key to where the snow or the potential for that snow falls. Now, you may be wondering, well, all right, Alex, what about tonight? No snow in the forecast. In fact, our temperatures, these are not the high temperatures. These are not the highs for tomorrow. These are the lows for tonight. But it's close enough to our normal high temperatures for this time of year, just to show you how stark these changes are. We'll do mid-50s for Wednesday, breezy conditions across all of southern Wisconsin as a weather system moves through, but no precipitation is expected on Wednesday, just the gusty winds. Whenever you see a wind map like this with all the colors, get ready to hold on to the hats because our winds are going to be gusting at times upwards of 30 miles per hour during the daytime on Wednesday. So gusty winds carry us through into Thursday as well. Some shower chances Thursday night going into Friday, but then that weather system that could impact the Badger game, the Madison Marathon. All eyes on the First Warn Weather Team will be keeping the very latest and keeping you up on the very latest with the track of that weather system. We break down the game here on Saturday. Breezy conditions with some rain showers, possibly mixing in with a little bit of snowflake activity as we head later into the game. And we certainly could be waking up to some snow showers as we move into Sunday morning. And again, even if this weather system goes to the south, we are not going to get rid of the cold. That's almost certain here with temperatures in the upper 20s to start the run, low 30s in the middle of the run, and at the end of the run, still in the low to mid 30s. Now, how about on a nicer note here? Let's end here with this beautiful sunrise photo here. Thanks, Shirley, for sending us this photo. If you're on the other side of the camera, get your phone out, scan that QR code, give you a moment to scan it, and then that will link you right up to our portal where you can submit your weather photos, so that way we can show the weather going on in southern Wisconsin. Not just talk about it, let's show it.
That's a beauty, that sunset. And now
Pretty
it's
colors.
earlier than ever, right?
Yeah.
4:47 or something? 4:46.
Close
Wow.
enough. Close enough. It's dark early.
Thank you, Shirley. That was a beautiful picture.
Was.
Thanks, Alex.
Thanks, Alex. Well, an injury to their normally reliable kicker, Brandon McManus, has us all on pins and needles every time Green Bay lines up for a field goal.
It's so true. Our Packers senior writer Jason Wilde has more on the direction that head coach Matt LaFleur is going with the kicking game.
Veteran Packers kicker Brandon McManus had been so good until he suffered a quadriceps injury in his kicking leg in early October that we had taken to calling him Automatic McManus, which is tough to say, but absolutely true. He has been nothing close to automatic in the last two games since returning from his injury. He missed 2 kicks in Pittsburgh, missed another one in Sunday's loss here at Lambeau to the Carolina Panthers. Matt LaFleur says the plan is to stick with McManus. The hope is that he's getting closer and closer to full health and that they don't need to go to fill-in kicker Lucas Havrisik, who remains on the roster for now.
No, I definitely say health-wise. I mean, he didn't kick for 2 straight weeks, so... but that's a process working through, but we felt confident in terms of what we've been seeing out at practice and just his ability to make them, because that's where it all starts for us. I mean, and he's been doing a great job in practice, and unfortunately, you know, he missed the shorter of the, I know he had 3 kicks, but unfortunately missed the shorter one and hit the longer one.
We'll see if McManus can get things going back in the right direction as the Packers get ready for their matchup on Monday night with the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles here at Lambeau Field. We'll have full coverage leading into the game and of the game on our website, channel3000.com. And while you're there, make sure you sign up for our Packers newsletter, which delivers our coverage directly to your inbox every single day. In Green Bay at Lambeau Field, Jason Wilde, channel3000.com.
Jason, thank you. With a government shutdown set to become the longest in U.S. history, a potential deal emerges. What that would mean for the Affordable Care Act subsidies at the center of this fight. Stay with us.
Plus, voters across the country are heading to the polls today. The top races to watch tonight. Details on that when we're back.
Well, we do have some breaking news at this hour. That is a live look at the aftermath of a UPS plane crash near the Louisville International Airport. Police say there is an active scene there. There are injuries that have been reported. We'll learn more coming up next on the CBS Evening News.
Republican former Vice President Dick Cheney has died. Cheney's family says the 84-year-old died last night due to complications of pneumonia and cardiac and vascular disease. Seen as possibly the most powerful vice president in history, Dick Cheney served as the leading advocate in the Bush administration for invading Iraq after 9/11. Cheney has ties to Wisconsin. He attended UW-Madison for graduate school between 1966 to 68. He left the school before receiving his doctorate for a congressional fellowship in Washington, D.C.
Let's get a live look at our nation's capital, where the Senate again failed to pass the House's continuing resolution to reopen the government. That puts the shutdown on track to become the longest in U.S. history. But lawmakers from both parties have hinted that they could reach a deal soon.
There seems to be some indication of a thaw, but I see no immediate solution on the horizon.
I'm hopeful again that this is the week in which the Democrats will conclude that this is not a good thing.
That agreement would reportedly fund the government alongside long-term appropriations bills in exchange for a vote on extending health insurance tax credits that Democrats have been demanding.
Well, even during the shutdown, lawmakers are getting paid. But today, Wisconsin Congressman Brian Stile introduced legislation that he says would change that. The Withhold Member Pay During Shutdowns Act would prohibit members of the 119th Congress from collecting a paycheck during the ongoing shutdown. In the next Congress, the bill would deduct pay from members' paychecks for each day the government goes unfunded.
It is election day for Americans all across the country. Voters in New York City cast their votes for mayor. The frontrunners in that race, Democratic primary winners Zohran Mamdani and former Governor Andrew Cuomo. In Virginia and New Jersey, voters are casting their ballots for governor. Both of those races seen as bellwethers heading into next year's midterms.
And in California, people are voting on a proposal that would allow congressional redistricting. California Democrats proposed that in response to Texas lawmakers redrawing their congressional maps early to boost Republicans' chances of holding on to the House next year.
We'll be right back with a final check of your First Warn forecast.
Cheney has died at the age of 84. Tonight, we take a look at the life of one of the most powerful vice presidents in American history.
And Americans take to the polls today. We'll have team coverage with all the details. That's ahead on the CBS Evening News.
And coming up at the top of the hour, how people in Milton can lend a hand to families struggling to put food on the table as the timeline for SNAP benefits remains uncertain. That's again tonight, News 3 Now at 6.
And finally at 5, mark your calendar. Hilldale has announced it will kick off the holiday season with its annual tree lighting celebration on Sunday, November 23rd. The North Pole Party lasts from 3 to 6. There will be a kids' craft station, a sleigh, complimentary hot cocoa, and much more. And Alex was looking at that story and said, thankfully it's not this Sunday.
Yeah, that's
because
right.
The weather is going to be very cold.
The weather's going to be cold and wintry-like, but not a nice day to really be outside. Unfortunately, we have the Madison Marathon that Sunday. Tune in at 6. We'll talk about the Packers forecast, so you want to join for that.
All right.
CBS Evening News coming your way next. You can always watch us streaming 24/7 at Channel 3000+.